Some of you definitely know her. Kananelo Taiwe. She's known as Messi. Hey man, I'm trying to make sense. You're 11, right? At 11, you're going to play for Celtic. Like,
I was the youngest one. I played with Banyana.
Yeah.
I played with Hardships, Melinda. They playing for Sundowns now. First thing I get there, I'm told, Kananelo, we are going to an under-17 national camp.
How old are you then?
I was 15. I got in. The score was 2-2. Obviously, we were supposed to score like 3 or like 4. I scored. Then we qualified for the World Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Banyana Banyana, welcome to it. It's Game Time Podcast with Mpixo P, the greatest born. Ziyakhala, episode 6. We thought, no, reshapu ka majita. Hanyane fela ke re ba re moya wa bona re utlisetse, fresh people, the future, so that when you get to see them in the national colors, or say, I remember this person from Game Time Podcast. Some of you definitely know her. Kananelo Taiwe. She's known as Messi. Yeah, so I'm giving you heads up right now to go and watch her when she plays. One of the many things that we want to do as Game Time Podcast, we want to influence you to start going out there and watching, women's football, because that is important. We must fill up those stadiums the same way as fill up Hardships Chiefs Kanajua Maranseria is fill up, but it's fine. I get fell. Messi abadala. We all over check because Bonaba it's Messi. How's it, dog? Kim Nad, it's been a minute. I had an interview with you 5 years ago. I was just reminding you now. You still remember that time?
Yo, I still remember, like I was fairly young at that time.
Yeah.
But, as people we grow, so now we're here again.
Yeah. And when you say you were fairly young, I know there's somebody that doesn't know that you were literally 14.
Yeah.
And at the time you were playing at Celtic.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep, let's just give them a little background of who Kananelo Taiwe is, aka Messi.
And I want 051 Kananelo Messi Taiwe. I started playing the Majita I 8 years. But man, when you're a girl, like boys, like they undermine you because you're a girl, and I was undermined a lot by my teammates. But I think that pushed me to be where I am today. Then I got scouted by Bloem Celtics when I was 11. I played there for 2 years max. Then I played for Tuks.
Before we get there, right, when you were 8 playing with boys, did you play for a specific team at the time? And if that's the case, who owned that team, that person that allowed you to come and play with the gents?
I was playing for Golden Birds, like it's a boys team, and Daimano and a coach, like he saw I had potential. So Mpixo for money, so since he push Lene Daimano, Mpixo for one day, something over a while. So yeah.
So you're 11. You're scouted for Celtic. What did your parents say, dog? Like, do you still even have memories of that time? I can't remember much of when I was 11.
Like, I do remember that time. But at that time, I was out with my family. And my mom was here in Bloem. So she's the one who called me. And she was like, hey, Baba, you need to come back. I even bought you boots. I'm like, it was such a immense feeling. Like I was so happy, and they were happy too. I had to tell my grandparents, yeah, so it was a nice feeling. They were so happy.
I'm trying to make sense. You're 11, right? At 11, you're going to play for Celtic. Like, Ulodlala le bomangda, like ulodlala le first team, ulodlala le, was there a younger generation of Celtic ladies at the time?
No, I was the youngest one. I played with Bambanani.
Yeah.
I played with Khadiete, Melinda. They playing for Sundowns now.
Yeah,
I played with like top people.
Yeah,
so I was the youngest one there.
8'11", dog. This is not making sense. I'm trying to figure out how tall were you to. Do you even get like some game time at the time?
I did. Every game.
You were playing?
It was a continuous thing. But obviously, when you're young, the coaches try by all means to like protect you. At first, I started getting like 20 minutes, 10 minutes. But once they saw,
you were there.
19.
You were there giving your sisters a hard time.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You are then playing for Celtic. Now you make that move to Tuks. How did that move come about? Do you still remember? And what was the feeling at Celtic at the time that you are leaving, you're going to Tuks?
I think I feel like haole ngwanyana or like ule mojita o batla ya fere ka ball. You can't aspire to be go Bloem. I think pusheta ke fore ke go Tuks. So when that thing came, I was so happy. Like I was really happy. And yeah, man, I can't remember what happened, but like it was just like a fast move that I needed to go that side and play.
Yeah, because I remember when I was still at CUTFM and I had an interview with you, someone told me, and they were like, "There's this kid called Messi, dog. This kid is about to go to Tuks, and there was a whole excitement about you." And I also remember seeing you, I think it was Express, one of the Express newspapers there, one of the issues there, you were there, in one article there. I'm like, yeah, no, I need to get here. And then you make that move to Tuks. But before we touch on the move, you are groomed by Coach Motlale, right?
Yeah.
And what was it like working with him, like at that time when you were younger?
And Tate Motlale, like, yo, man, unan treata jwalo ka an A, but like, anasabatu e bonita because obviously he needs to be tough on me. He was always tough on me, and I feel like that's why I kill him play. Yeah. Because of like umpushita, like umpushita and Tadamita, like that would next, like umpushita in general.
Sure, and then you get to Tuks. What happens when you get to Tuks? What is like the first time you get there? The experience, what was it like?
Obviously, I'm in a sports school. Tuks is an old sports school. Others play athletics, whatever. I play soccer. First thing I get there, I'm told, Kananelo, we are going to an under-17 national camp. In class.
Under-17?
In class, I'm just in class. Kananelo, we are going to national under-17 camp. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you then?
I was 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything just happened fast, and like Tuks, man, like it was just an overall good feeling and an overall good experience to be there.
Who was the coach at Tuks when you get there?
The coach was Simpiwe Dludlu. Yeah.
The Simpiwe Dludlu that used to play for Banyana.
Yeah, the Simpiwe Dludlu.
I think she also coached. Is it under 20?
Under 17.
Under 17.
Yeah.
So you get there, you start working with Simpiwe Dludlu there. The relationship, how everything turned out. Were you happy with your stay there?
I was. Simpiwe Dludlu is a very intelligent woman, football-wise, she's so wise, you know. I feel like once you get groomed around her arms and like you know, you look at football in a different perspective because she's that lady, you know, she pushes you. So I was so lucky to have worked with her that time.
At that time, Kibomang, like who are, you know, players that we know that were there, Tuks that were playing at the time that, you know, you were playing with?
Gugule Tutlamin. Yeah, we're playing for the same team now, UJ. And Mihle Lumko as well. Yeah. Wendy Shongwe, she's playing for Banyana. So yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You can't think of them from the top of your head.
Yeah.
And then you make the under 17. So as far as the under 17, how many caps did you manage to get?
5 caps.
5 caps.
Yeah, 5 caps.
In the under 17.
Yeah.
And then the whole experience at under 17, how was it like? Where were the games? Did you travel outside, you know, the country?
Yeah, the first time I traveled, we went to Zambia. Yeah. Then we went to Mauritius, Ethiopia. Yeah. Oh, it was so nice. It was so nice. I'm like, okay, Kananelo, like, we ain't no. It was so nice. Like, I don't wanna lie.
What was so nice, Kananelo? Tell us, like, we wanna know. I mean, here's the thing, right? The whole idea of us having these conversations is for people to know you first, to try to inspire also these youngins that are playing. As far as ladies football is going in South Africa, it's starting to get popular, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to be a thing. Like you start to see these tournament, it's a pop as a ladies football. And I think soon enough, we are going to have tournaments as big as Obatukada, Phillies games, you know, we can mention them.
Yeah.
It's just ladies, you know, tournaments, you know, so Mauritius, Ethiopia, Zambia. What are these nice things compared to like what was nice about traveling and all of that?
Oh, Zambia, like neredlala for like who qualify for World Cup, right? So when we went there, obviously it's first leg playing there. We traveled, we went there to Zambia, but I'm like, Zambia is totally almost like it's totally South Africa. Different,
yeah.
But then we lost. So obviously, when we come back, we need to win so that we can qualify.
Yeah,
for the World Cup. I got in. The score was 2-2. Obviously, we were supposed to score like 3 or like 4. I scored. Then we qualified for the World Cup, right? So like it was a nice feeling. We went to Mauritius. We won all our games, like the stay there, like vibes, sharp. Ethiopia, yeah. So experience in the sharp, cause
yeah. And then at the time, or do you still remember who you shared your room with? Your buddies from the team, Kananelo.
Yo. Matataka. Oh, nanexina di matter.
But unoshagalman.
Nekshagale gugu. I mean, ekidlala mbolo lene no.
Yeah.
Nekshagale ntabise maji. Yeah. That one is my long-time friend. Nekshagale so kiba tuba ofela nekshagale.
Sure. So you play under 17, right? But you are still also playing for Tuks, right? How long have you been playing at Tuks?
I only played there for like a year.
Just a year?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
TUT wanted me.
And then
I opted to go to TUT. Because obviously I'm thinking ahead. I'm like, if I go to TUT, it's going to be easier for me to get into varsity. Obviously, I was thinking ahead. I was in grade 10, but I was like, you know what? Let me just go and try and see what happens there.
Yeah. And then you get there, what's the vibes?
I get there, to be honest, it was not what I expected. Like it was hard. It was hard.
What made it hard?
Because obviously, Mina, I'm used to starting, you know. It's a continuous thing. Like, I'm playing games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing games. So when I get there, I'm like, competition. These people are old and I'm young.
Yeah.
I don't get game time. Like, it's really hard. But I feel like it taught me to, like, push myself, you know. Yeah. So when I realized, Uguti, Kananelo, wake up, that's when I start again.
Yeah. So in how if I view a picture, how did you see that? Let's for a guy.
For a year.
For a year, even at TUT.
Yeah.
Yo, how many games were you able to play in a season?
In a season, I think we have 30-something games. Yeah, first leg we have, I don't know. But like, I think overall I play like 18 games.
Out of 30-something? 18 games. But 18 is fair enough.
Yeah.
If it was that competitive, you know. But what outside of you having to push yourself, what did you being able to play with players that are a bit more mature than you, that are a bit older, who playing now, it's business for them. Like, you know, when you get older and you're playing sports, you get to a point where it's no longer about just playing, dog, and people say, yo, Manad, it's business now. Like, you fight for your place, you fight for your sport. What was it like? What was that one thing that you learned that will always say, you know, from that TUT time, this is what I've taken with me?
Time is precious. That's what I learned. And you shouldn't take things by heart, man. You know? I feel like Mina, at that time, I was young. I was not used to being scolded at, you know. I was not that type of person whereby I'm scolded at. So when I got there, they were telling me, Kananelo, this is not how you do it.
Yeah.
So I had to like...
Who's coaching? Who's coaching at the time?
She's a lady. I forgot her name, to be honest. But yeah, that lady. Yeah.
And then some of the senior players that you had there, which ones did you had a relationship with? And obviously, unotaka position at the time, all that.
The person that I had a relationship with was Tsikhofatso. Because that one, she was 20-something. So I felt like she was going to guide me and be there for me. And I was also fighting the position with her. So I was like, yeah, she's my friend, but like, I need to do what I gotta do.
You needed to do what you got to do. And then via go TUT, where va?
Richmond United. It's in the Northern Cape province.
Yeah.
I played there for 2 years.
The experience, you reunite with your father.
I reunite with my father there.
Yeah. When you get there, how was it like, you know, for a whole 2 years?
It didn't exceed my expectations, to be honest. I'm a person who wants things to be like straight, you know. So obviously when they called me, they're like, okay, look, come, we're going to pay for your school fees. I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. We're going to give you something. Okay, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
When I get there, they only pay for my school fees. Man. You know, but I talked to the thingy, the head of the team. I'm like, bruh, what are you doing now? You said most this and this. So I left there for me to not get, you understand?
Yeah.
But like it was sorted eventually.
Yeah.
But I think it really didn't exceed my expectations because like from where I come from and here, I think I've downgraded in a way because the facilities and everything, like I'm a really like fast person. And I feel like when I came there, I was like gradually becoming slow and slow and slow because of how the way we train and like everything. So, but the team overall, it was fine because we were kids and like stuff like that.
Yeah. I like one thing. So, you know, we talking the past, like we are not talking now. Majita and hey, they were telling us like, hey, that little something that they were promised, how much was it? It's not a bad thing. We're giving people perspective. You're the first lady that we interview. I think Batalema MC on the podcast. I got to when during her time never who knows never 50 rand. I'm playing. Hey, Usman, I'm playing. You might watch this and like yeah, but what's the highest amount of money that you've ever been paid ever since? And what's the lowest? We know at some point you were not getting anything.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Is it fine? Is it okay for me to say it? I really don't want to say it.
Or let's keep it at the highest here.
Highest?
Yeah.
10. I think 10. Yeah. Yeah. Highest 10.
That was 10K. You know why? Because we always have these issues of these conversations that women, they must be paid the same way as men are paid, and sometimes we don't get perspective of how much is this money that they are getting versus what men are getting. We can't even differentiate, you know?
Yeah.
It's people that are on the inside that knows who keep saying this thing. So now you just gave us an idea. So at Richmond, right? Finally you leave, but are you still getting like call-ups in terms of the national team?
In Richmond, I got a few call-ups from the under 20. Obviously, I was 18. I couldn't play for under 17. I was 18. So I got a few under 20 call-ups because at that time we were playing COSAFA and we were camping and everything. It was selections. So I was there. This year, I went to UJ. Obviously, I played there for like, it's a whole year now as we speak.
Yeah.
But I only played like 5 matches. Then after those 5 matches, I got injured.
So you are contracted by UJ for how long?
As long as I want to, because obviously I'm a student athlete. So the more I study, the more I play for UJ.
Oh, so you're studying at UJ as well now?
Yes.
Was it an academic decision that you made to say, look, let me go to UJ, I get the benefit of studying while I'm still playing? Or it was UJ being interested in you saying, come through this side, here are the benefits, and one of them is us giving you a bursary to study?
My initial plan was to go to TUT because I got accepted by TUT and UJ. But obviously my parents were like, I mean, let's weigh options here. You've been to TUT. Why can't you go to
UJ?
So I went there.
How's it like at UJ? I know you played a few games. You said you played what, 4?
4
games and you got an injury. What happened when you got that injury?
Yeah. I played those games. It was nice. Training, match day -1. I'm trying to dribble. My knee was chai.
For the whole season?
For the whole season. So, yeah.
You are there.
Okay.
You get the injury. How does it feel like? Was this your first injury? How did it feel like though?
I was so in denial. Like I was trying to figure out like why me, and like it really messes up with your mental capacity because like you're not strong and the injury happened when you at least expected it. I'm like, why didn't I get the injury maybe at the end of the season? Why now? Because obviously I had plans. I was going to do this and this and this and this, So it just randomly happened. So it was really hard. But, when you accept, like, it becomes better for your recovery as well.
So how long is your recovery going to take?
7 months.
7 months. You already killed how many now?
I'm going to start next year because my op is next year in Jan. So, so thinking about it, yeah, it's going to take some time. But I've accepted. Yeah, once I'm done with my op, I'm just going to push. So that when we play Varsity Cup,
yeah. Oh, you're also targeting the Varsity Cup as well.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Teams like UJ, they're having some nice time, eh? Hey, Rona there by CUT, kore really tapelo mararitwe. So in the process of you getting that injury, I know you get to think of your career, right? As a woman, what usually are the challenges that you guys come across as a collective? What are those challenges that are common that you as women, come across that you guys never even talk about?
I feel like, let me start with injuries. Injuries that are common are knee injuries, right? In the Hollywood bets this year, I think like 20% have knee injuries, struggle with knee injuries. And it's tough for us because like we don't know how to deal with this thing, this situation. And sports depression in a way, like you're scared. When I come back, is it gonna be the same?
Yeah.
Like, am I even gonna recover? Am I even gonna get back to playing the sport that I like? I feel like that's what we think about most of the time.
Outside of injuries, other challenges that are more specific to your guys' career?
This whole salary thingy. Yeah. I think that's the common thing, because they're not fair.
Yeah.
You should be equally treated because I feel like we play in the same sport, regardless of gender. I mean, like, we're equally the best. So this thing, I don't think it's gonna be sorted anytime soon. But I feel like that's one thing that we struggle.
How does it inconvenience you guys? I hear you move from one place to the next, and how well they dropped me from 20-something thousand to like 12, and I was like, no, I can't play for that, and I left, And for you guys, you think about it, it's like you're moving from Bloem, you're going to a different province, you move from Gauteng, you go to DR to play at Richmond. What are the inconveniences when it comes to those kind of salaries that are not, good enough?
I think for me, it was not even about moving for like salary or whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like experience different teams, But I feel like now I just know my worth.
Yeah.
I know my worth. I know what I'm worth, what I'm not worth.
Yeah.
You get. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, to be honest.
Because I the reason I ask you this question, you're gonna grow, and when you grow up, as you age, you realize you as an individual want to achieve. It's no longer about the excitement of just playing football. It's now the you want to say I'm playing, but at the same time I'm also achieving on the other side. Like there's progress and there's progress of things that I can see. And I usually joke to people and say, as human beings in your generation, you literally have 100 years, you know. If you are lucky, that is, you'll get to 100. If you are a little bit lucky, you'll get to 80. But when you get the opportunity to live, there are so many things that you want to achieve. In terms of your career, football-wise, who's your role model and why? I know they call you Messi, but it could be different. It could be Cristiano, you know. Who's your role model? It could be even worse. It could be a female player that we don't even know of.
Yeah. You know, when we are young, we like, Messi's my favorite.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, Neymar, what. Messi has always been my favorite. But once I grew up, see Bellingham.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. He's such a hard worker. You know, I love hard workers. So Bellingham.
Bellingham has to be. As far as female footballers.
Okay, Bani from Man City.
Yeah.
Bani, yeah.
From Man City. Oh, I thought you were going to say someone in the Banyana setup.
They are great players. But they're fine, man. Not for me.
You certainly know of records that are there that have been set by South African female athletes. I know. I think Portia Modise scored about 100 goals plus. You know, for Banyana, and no one has ever done it. Now, here's the thing: like with all those, right? When you check, there's probably others that you know of that I don't know of, because definitely your coaches should be giving you the statistics, right? Those records that you say, Yazin, like if maybe at the end of my career I should have broken this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records. Which ones are those?
I think caps, man. Caps. I think caps, they really mean a lot. Besides goals, I get goals, but like caps, you know, I think that's the biggest achievement that I would want to break. Like having a lot of caps.
You want a lot?
A lot.
When you say a lot of caps, like where are you looking?
Maybe like 400.
For keeper.
Yeah. Or maybe 350.
Yeah.
Yeah, mara nna ke batla di-cap tse ngata.
Yeah, but you can get there. Like you can get there, you know. You can get there. Everything is possible, you know, particularly when you are still given life, you know.
Yeah.
And you are working hard. You said you love Bellingham because he's a hard worker. You know, it is possible. Like, so in terms of those caps, but what would be a dream move for you? Like, I remember I was telling Coach Mutlale, like when we had him, you know, when I met Bambanani after they won the Alcon, you know, she was super excited to tell me that, you know, Zeki get soft life at Sundowns, you know. I'm like, hey, like people are enjoying soft life now. What would be like that big move for you, and why would that be a big move for you?
Playing overseas, you know, Europe specifically, and studying as well, you know, having a well-paid job while playing football, you know. I think that's my biggest goal that I want to achieve.
What's different about Europe that you are very specific about it compared to any other continent? Because I can tell you, like, when it comes to women's football, if I'm not supporting Banyana, hey, USA, that's right. I'm there with USA, you know, because hey, what's Hela to Baba Batla, you know? Why specifically Europe?
Europe has a lot of money, you know, there's a lot of money. And the way they train, you know, money and how they train, how they play. I feel like that will fit in my style of play.
Yeah.
Sharp, yo.
What's have you said?
Cool.
La Shapana ka said there's females though. Is there that thing yaure coach are hey man hey Shapa mtho.
A Shapa no bone for mone coach utima training no.
In terms of games, little La Shapa.
A Shapa.
Now here's the thing, Majita bare yo, hey batola. Ba iswa dithabeng, ba kena dibate. Ba fafatsu, ba fuwa divembela. Hey, go busy. Have you ever played for a team? Mo la sa basically beats, you still have a long way to go. So have you ever been with a team mo le fafatsa ba le fafatsa lona before you go play?
Thank God I haven't, but teams that we play with, some of them, they use those things, you know, maybe to protect themselves. They say it, but like, we know that's a lie. Yeah. You know, you can't toss out things, weird things, then you play. You want to kabata as well, but kabata. So whenever you play like a foray, we protect and stuff. So now I'm teaming as well one day.
What's gonna happen? Like, let's say they exceed your expectations in terms of everything that you're looking for as far as your career. The only problem is that they're using these things. Like before the game, you guys have to swim.
We have to swim.
Yeah.
Yo, I call. You're sharp. Like you're sharp. I can't swim. Like I can't swim for
not swim in a way a royal tamolo swimmer, but like I'm just saying, maybe let's mates more couple of teammates a blue a pinky killing about to get like I can.
Go understand. I can wait to didn't say.
Yeah.
So can I go my meeting a pinky? I call. He gets unusual.
You know, Majita Mambakile Bamfa skinny tournament in go to Canada. Those guys, they were drunk one. Ba shapilela la voka. In the squad, and they came. Now, but little hot man leleng da kill time alijile jazzy. You can imagine mutajile jazzy December holy so. So one la tara and fit we had to say about la pace harder. And an old timer takes my boots. Upotela gets on to the car. He comes back. The team we were playing with, it had less than 90 minutes. Like, Bolonele, I scored 2 goals. Those 2 goals that I scored, I felt like a ball was any into a defender, took a run, Shabani keeper, double keeper, Janet, as simple as that. You know? So, these things happen. It's part of football. So, why would you, is it because of your faith, your religion, or is it a personal thing to say, like, I don't even want to be involved in these things?
I just don't. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm not judging. I know these things happen. Like, these things happen. We won't change them. But I feel like I won't involve myself in those type of situations whereby I need to tussle myself with things and, you know.
Yeah.
It's not in my nature. Back. It's not in my nature, for real.
It's not in your nature. Nah. Yo, it's quite crazy that you say you won't do it. Yeah, but what if you're at a team that... Have you ever heard of anyone that you played with barring on a personal level? Nah, I'm protecting myself. Do you ever get those situations where remote camping and
yeah.
So what do you usually do in those cases?
Okay. Obviously, I'm one trait of right show. Usually,
what do they do? What's the one you've seen being done by ita?
I get tsebe bana le died in tsengwe ka di containing ba ithasane tsebe ba rapela ka po etsalang ba etsa died in tse mantse fane obo so ke re mara okay di dire man
into tsa
died in tsa
so ba so offer red doctor and fit ikatele.
Never. Never.
What would happen if someone very close to you that you respect tla ga fit go tshwaretse sengwenyane ikatele?
Why?
Do you have a you never know. Maybe they've got the best interests and they realize, hey, no one wants to ikatele.
I wouldn't. Like, I genuinely wouldn't. One thing I would do, like, I will obviously ask my opinion. Like, I would obviously ask Thingy, I'm sorry, my mom. So
do you ever, most of your decisions that you make, you always highlight your parents to say, here's a situation, like, how do we go about it?
Yeah, all the time.
What's the situation sorting? Hey, Monana, like, I needed to call my mom. Like, this one was a matter of life and death. Not literally, but I'm trying to say in terms of how big that decision was at the time.
I think my decision, man, obviously I can't give out a TUT. Like, Pilaga and TUT, Li UJ, needing accept the too. So I was very adamant on going go TUT. So she's the one I'm relating for him on. You need to go through complex situations. Kananelo experience that I didn't think because at TUT, you know how they operate and stuff like that. So yeah, I won't tell you about the other things, but that one specifically is, yeah.
Okay, I know the other things. Hey, with you guys, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But if it happens, because there's rumors that, hey, there might be a ladies team in Bloem trying to get into the Hollywood. If that team would approach you and say, I'm fine, Bloem people, they've never really watched you. We want to give them a taste of Messi. Would you come?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't come back home? Why?
Because I fought so hard to leave home.
Yeah.
I fought so hard to leave home. I wouldn't come back.
In South African football, what team would you say this would be the greatest achievement if I go and play for that team?
Sundowns. UJ is already but Sundowns, yeah.
What's the difference between Sundowns and other teams?
Sundowns is so advanced in everything. Like, they're so advanced in everything that they do. Like, physios, everything. Like, they proper. So, and they take good care of their players. So, I wouldn't mind going there.
Good care of their players. And you get there, you gotta swim with the sharks. I'm playing.
Cool.
Because you said you can't swim with the sharks. You get there, they're like, we got to swim. This is Sundowns.
Yes.
Would you call your mom?
Obvious.
If she says yes?
Can't swim. Can't swim, yo.
Yeah. I know. Like, one thing that is beautiful about you guys, like, with women's football is you guys are so chilled, Shame. Like, there isn't too much around you. Do you ever get that whole thing that when you pop up, like, in a mall or something, like, people pick you, it's that girl that plays soccer for this other team?
But yeah, then but like, we're chilled, like you said.
Yeah. Imagine if you were to be a regular in the Banyana squad. And then you go out there, you play in the World Cup, and you're Ricky, you learn the World Cup.
Yo, yes, don't tell me. Yo, don't tell me. But it will come.
Yeah.
When the time is right.
But have you ever had any conversation with anyone in the national team setup to say, and Fitch, yeah.
I've went there once. Yeah. Desiree called me and we were playing for Kosafa under 20, right? Then Desiree called me. She was like, I need to go. So it was last year. It was my first time.
What was going on? Were you going to train with the team?
They were also playing. Preparing for Kosafa. So I was there. Like the whole Banyana set up, I'm there. I'm like, dude, yeah. Is it me? Like, I was so happy.
So training with them.
Yeah.
Like, how did it feel like? I know you are like with A, like, but did you really realize that I'm this close?
I was. But the thing is, I always have setbacks. Then I got this massive flu when I was there.
Yo.
Obviously, the doctors were like, but are you going to infect our thingies, our players? Send you back home. I'm like, I'm not even going to the R. Please send me here.
Yeah.
I'm coming to Bloem. It was so sad. Like, I don't want to.
So there was basically what you're trying to say. There was even hope that you might even, get some game time.
There was. I'm telling you, there was. In the morning, flu. I can't even talk. Like, it's too much. When I go there, the medical room, the doctor tells me, I'll have fun.
Gotta go home. And ever since, so this is before you got the injury, right? And then immediately after that, you play 4 games, you get the injury. So do you believe if you didn't get the injury, you would have definitely got another call-up?
I was 100. I believe.
No, the beauty about you is that you're still young. So at 19, man, I do believe, like, by the time you're 21, you'll definitely be there, destroying people.
Yeah.
What number would you go for, like, when you go to the
squad?
Yeah.
I show you a ceiling down, number. So I wouldn't take it. Maybe 21. I'll take 21.
Why 21?
My grandfather's birthday, 21 December. So I would take 21.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Linda must make a plan. No, Linda must make a plan. But listen here. Thank you so much for coming through to have this conversation with us. We really appreciate you. I know one day we're going to talk to you. At the point we're going to be bigger. You're going to be bigger. We all going to be there. And we'll be having a conversation just looking at your career. But for now, thank you so much for pulling through. Like, we always appreciate people's time. You could have been doing something else, but you decided to come and bless us with your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's it. Hey, Messi, one day, World Cup, that is possible. I'm the greatest. By the way, this is Game Time Podcast, and as always, I would never leave without saying this: to whom much is given, much is expected, and to whom much is expected, much is required. Every champion that is a champion today was once a contender who refused to give up. For Game Time Podcast, I'm Mpixo P, the greatest. God willing. See you next time. Ayoba.